Welcome to Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. Make your foot the foot that counts. The I Ching, or Book of Changes, the Richard Wilhelm translation, Bologan Series 19, Princeton University Press, 1930. The Winter Solstice hexagram 24. Few return the turning point. In earth's embrace, thunders whispered deep. Returning to the point, ancient kings did keep. At solstice's gate, they sealed the way. Merchants and strangers paused in their sway. The winter solace, a resting retreat, life's energy dormant beneath our feet, as movement stirs in its nascent start. Rest's gentle embrace fortifies the heart. A principle timeless, in cycles it's found, renewing energies in stillness unbound. With tenderness and care, we must tend the beginnings of cycles, may they mend. For in the turning point's quiet grace, a flourishing return finds its rightful place. At the time of solstice, merchants and strangers did not go about, and the ruler did not travel through the provinces. In ancient times, kings recognized the significance of the solstice as a cyclical pause within the year's progression. The term solstice, derived from the Latin word solstitium, signifies the annual juncture when the sun reaches its lowest point before ascending once more, heralding the impending arrival of the spring. It begins today, extending from the 21st to the 24th, comprising 3 full days. During this time, they took measures to close off passageways. Merchants refrained from their usual travels, and rulers did not undertake extensive journeys. The tradition of observing the sun during this season originated in ancient predynastic Kemet, Egypt, around 4000 BC. To the ancient Kemetians, the act of observing and venerating the sun held a twofold significance. Our ancestors were deeply attuned to nature, relying on the land for sustenance. Sun observation aided them in aligning their agricultural activities with the changing seasons, facilitating planting, harvesting, and preparations for potential droughts. Recognizing the indispensability of the sun, they celebrated its return with communal harvest festivals. Our ancestors were pioneers in fields such as astronomy, astrology, science, and spirituality. They recognized the interconnectedness of our bodies and the sun. By harmonizing their minds with the sun's cycles, they believed they could undergo a parallel transformation. During this period, they engaged in profound meditation, introspection, and spiritual rituals, shedding aspects of themselves that no longer served their growth, akin to the sun's rebirth. Heru was subsequently deified as the son of Ra. They retained the core folklore, making cultural adjustments as they saw fit. The ancients regarded this as the sun's rebirth, designating December 25th as the sun's birth date. In ancient Egypt, Ra represented the supreme deity with the sun as his visage. Heru thus became the tangible embodiment of Ra, that is, the Son of God. Over time, specific sects within Egypt started associating the sun with messianic figures from their mythologies. The festivities surrounding December 25th were adapted to honor Heru. This observance resounded 12 days respite and encompasses solar observations, cultural revelries, and spiritual enlightenment as practiced by our forebears from predynastic Kemet. The ancient Occident. The winter solstice has always been celebrated as the resting time of the year, a custom that survives into this very time. In winter, the life energy, symbolized by thunder, the arousing, is still underground. Movement is just at its beginning, therefore it must be strengthened by rest, so that it will not be dissipated by being used prematurely. This concept found its way into the traditions of Babylonians, Persians, and Greeks, who incorporated Heru into their own pantheons. The 24th hexagram turning point. It reflects the idea that during the winter season, the life force, akin to thunder, remains dormant beneath the Earth's surface. Movement at this stage is in its early phases and must be supported by rest to avoid premature dissipation. This principle of allowing energy that is renewing itself to be reinforced by rest applies to all similar situations. Everything must be treated tenderly and with care at the beginning so that the return may lead to a flowering. The principle applies universally to various life situations. All transitions require gentle and careful nurturing at their inception. By providing this tender care, we facilitate a return that ultimately leads to growth and flourishing, in harmony with the cyclical nature of existence. Thus, emphasizing the idea of the winter solstice is the time to recognize a turning point within larger cycles, and the importance of pausing and nurturing emerging energies to ensure that the return leads to growth and renewal in alignment with the natural rhythms of life. On this December 21st, we mark the commencement of Winter Solstice, a time-honored celebration, a recurring ancient cycle representing an ancient tribute to life's resurgence through the rebirth of the sun. In the southern hemisphere, specifically in Africa, this phenomenon commences on June 21st. Various cultures also celebrated the winter solstice in reverence of their respective saviors. By the time of the Roman Empire's ascendancy, there were over 10 distinct saviors globally, all sharing the common themes of having 12 disciples being born on December 25th and performing miraculous feats. The Romans consolidated these narratives and created the figure of Jesus Christos in the 4th century, later known as Jesus Christ in 1522 AD. They then incorporated this figure into their version of winter solstice, which subsequently evolved into Christmas. As Europeans traveled and conquered across the world, they carried this holiday with them, disseminating its traditions far and wide. From a brief detour, we now retreat. No remorse in this timely feat. Great fortune smiles on our way, correcting course without delay. Yet, if we wander far and wide, fortune waits, it's on the tide. Return early, it never too late, heeding the wisdom of at this turning gate. Much appreciation to you for giving of your time with us at Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. We trust you will come back soon.